If you're someone who is empathic and feel deeply, you may find it difficult to walk away from people who are chronically disrespectful and abusive. You may find yourself saying, "But I love them." If you keep giving second chances, third chances, fourth and fifth chances to someone who continues to hurt you and then play upon your sympathies, you have to take responsibility for how you are participating in your own harm. Love, in my book, is an action step. It's a verb. It isn't just a warm, fuzzy feeling. It goes much deeper than that. We can't just tell a person that we love them. We must demonstrate our love through action. Loving action is to be kind, respectful, considerate, caring, empathetic, and emotionally available. We need to be able to listen, to hold a positive space for someone who's going through a challenge, and offer support through our consistent presence. What love is not, it's not judging, condemning, fault-finding, blaming, shaming, name-calling, joking at somebody else's expense, being cold, cruel, passive-aggressive, gossiping, starting or taking part in a smear campaign, neglecting, or doing anything that causes harm to another human being. We are all capable of loving actions. We are also capable of unloving actions. The question we need to ask ourselves and others is, what are my consistent actions towards this person? Or what are their consistent actions towards me? When I say consistent, I'm not talking about that one time that your ex-boyfriend brought you flowers and said a few kind words. If 80% of the time that person is uncaring and disrespectful, this is the consistent behavior. Pay attention. The idea of tough love has been around for a long time. I remember hearing these words frequently when I was in school learning about drug and alcohol addiction and recovery. Parent had to learn tough love to stop allowing her young adult child from coming into their house under the influence, stealing money, and causing chaos and drama. A wife had to learn to stop enabling her alcoholic husband, who continued to drink, engage in toxic behavior, and expect her to clean up his messes. But tough love goes far beyond addiction. It's a form of accountability that we all need to learn to practice in our lives. Tough love is first and foremost learning to love yourself. Remember, love is an action step. What actions are you taking on a daily basis to take care of yourself, to protect yourself, and be kind to yourself? If you keep opening the door to someone who mistreats you, you're not taking care of yourself or protecting yourself. If you continue to sacrifice your own needs to cater to the needs of another, you're not being loving to yourself. If you allow your feelings to make your decisions, you're not honoring yourself. The one exception I feel I need to say is if you're a parent of a small child, you sometimes do need to sacrifice your needs for the needs of your child or children. If you have an outing planned and the babysitter cancels at the last minute, you'll have to sacrifice your plans to take care of your children. This is not what I'm talking about at all when I speak of tough love. As a parent, tough love may mean saying no to the demands of a child, but that's a different story. If you are a parent of an adult child who still expects you to cater to their needs, it's time to start practicing tough love. Tough love is learning to love yourself, to make your own needs important, to regulate your own nervous system, to guard the gate, to recharge your battery first before giving your energy to others. And often it means not only guarding the gate, but closing it, locking it, and putting up extra reinforcements. Abuse is not okay. And I will say that again. Abuse is not okay. There is never a situation where abuse is okay. But what is worse is when someone is chronically abusive and takes no responsibility for their abusive behavior. That person, for whatever reason, lacks accountability, whether it's drugs, alcohol, deep immaturity, or personality disordered behavior like narcissism, borderline, and sociopathy. The lack of accountability is severely damaging. This is because that person can do anything that they want to. They can treat you however they feel like. And rather than own their behavior, they blame it on you. They tell you that you are the problem. Or they simply come in, do damage, and disappear until next time that they need something from you. And this is why it's critical to develop laser-sharp boundaries and practice tough love. Your boundary is that line you don't allow anyone to cross. It may mean you don't get to talk to me like that, or infidelity is a deal breaker, or you don't get to come into my home, my sanctuary, while you're an active addict. Or if you blame me for something that you are doing, I can't let you have access to me. Your boundary is your line in the sand. It's where you say no or no more. A laser-sharp boundary is a very clear boundary. I will no longer tolerate XYZ. We do often find ourselves tolerating abusive or disrespectful behavior before we draw that line in the sand. We have the opportunity to experience how horrible it feels and decide we're not going to continue to expose ourselves to that kind of behavior anymore. However long it takes to get you to this point, the point of no return, the important thing is that you get there, that you make a conscious effort to know where your boundaries are. And then once you understand where your boundaries are, you have to practice tough love to reinforce them. Tough love is your no. It's where you protect your boundaries, no matter what. It's making yourself important enough to stop others from walking all over you, using you, robbing you, mistreating you, or manipulating you. When you finally realize that you deserve better, you can start pushing out the energies that say otherwise. Nobody gets to determine your worth and value but you. This is your job. You are the only one who can truly say, I deserve better than this. You need to become your greatest protector. One thing that is important to understand is that the person or persons doing harm, they don't care about you. Otherwise, they would not be treating you this way. Even someone who is active in their addiction can't care about you while they are struggling with addiction. People with personality disorders or high levels of narcissism are incapable of really caring about you. So if the people who are harming you don't care about you, who will? Believe the actions and not the words. Oftentimes, people who do the greatest damage are the most manipulative when it comes to words. They have the gift of gab down. They know what to say to hook you, to appeal to your compassion, and get you to do what they want you to do. If you allow your emotions to run the show, you will be much easier to manipulate and take advantage of. Someone who is truly emotionally mature keep their emotions in check. It's not that they don't have weaknesses, but they know what their weaknesses are, and they allow their logic and reasoning to override their emotions when needed. In my own story, I was forced to develop those laser-sharp boundaries and understand my own weaknesses, because it was my weaknesses that prevented me from guarding the gate. In my weakness, I would just hand over the keys to the kingdom and allow the intruders to have their way, bringing chaos, drama, and deep injury into my sacred space. Here. At some point, the pain became too intense, and I had to do something different. I needed to understand where my weaknesses were and learn how to reinforce the boundaries with the parts of me that were strong. I had a strong mind and a strong will, and I needed to allow this part of me to take the lead. This way, when the predator comes a-knockin', I know the gate is locked and the boundaries reinforced, and they aren't getting in. I don't allow the soft part of me that only wants to be loved and cared for to take the lead. That part of me has its place, but not here. My soft, maternal, loving nature is reserved for those who are worthy of it. It doesn't mean I can't be kind to strangers or even to those who have harmed me, but that kindness has its limits. You may have heard the phrase, "Do not mistake my kindness for weakness." Boundaries require inner strength. They require compassion for yourself over compassion for your abuser. You need to know where your line in the sand is and not allow that line to be crossed. Your inner warrior must be called upon to reinforce those boundaries every time without fail. This is the only way abusive personalities will get the message, I am no longer available for your abuse, your disrespect, and lack of consideration. Take it elsewhere. It's important to understand that narcissists don't respect boundaries. They have a way of plowing right through. You can draw your line in the sand, and they will look at it and walk right over it. And this is why it's impossible to have a healthy relationship with a narcissist. You can say, please don't talk to me like that, and they will continue to talk to you like that. You can say, infidelity is a deal breaker for me, and they will cheat on you and try to hide it. You can say, I need you to be on time for our appointments, and they will continue to show up late and accuse you of being inflexible. We can't change people. I say that all the time because it's true. We can't change people. We can enforce our boundaries, and people will either change to meet us or they will leave. But we can't control how others treat us, and we can't make people do what we need them to do. Understanding this will help us to get clear on where our power is and what we need to do for our own health and sanity. So what do you do when someone in your life plows right through your boundaries? This is where going no contact or leaving a situation becomes critical for you to maintain your self-respect. If your partner cheats on you, you can't make him into someone who values you, loves you, and respects you. But you can end the relationship and find someone who does value you. You can't control someone's drug use, but you can communicate that you can no longer allow them in your life as long as they are active in their addiction. You can't get through to the friend who always treats you like you are inferior, but you can stop spending time with that friend. Once you make a decision to end a relationship with someone who mistreats you, you must stop interacting with that person. Otherwise, you're leaving the door open. When that person reaches out, you don't respond. When they show up at your door, you don't open it. When they send an email, you delete it. You don't owe anyone your time, your energy, or your communication. They had the opportunity to treat you with respect, and they blew it. Now, the price that they get to pay for their behavior is a loss of their access to you. You're no longer available for their disrespect. There is something else that often happens after you set strong boundaries or go no contact. And it's important to talk about it because for many people, this is the most devastating part of the process. When someone loses access to you, especially someone who is controlling, abusive, or narcissistic, they often look for another way to maintain control. If they can no longer control you directly, they will attempt to control the narrative about you. This is where smear campaigns come in. A smear campaign is not proof that you did something wrong. It is proof that the boundary worked. People who lack accountability do not self-reflect, they redirect blame. They can't sit with the truth of their own behavior, so they deflect onto you. And when you step away, refuse to engage or say no more, you become a target. You may hear that you are cold, heartless, selfish, unstable, crazy, difficult, abusive, or the problem. They may tell others that you abandoned them, mistreated them, or hurt them, while leaving out the years of disrespect, manipulation, or abuse that led you to walk away in the first place. And here's the hard truth. Smear campaigns are only effective if you still care about what people who don't know you or don't care about you think about you. Even when those people are family, even when those people are coworkers, even when those people have known you for years. If someone truly knows you, they will not blindly believe lies about you. And if they are willing to believe those lies without coming to you for the truth, then they never really knew you at all. People who believe smear campaigns are followers. They are not seekers of truth. And you do not need to lose sleep over sheep. One of the biggest mistakes that people make when a smear campaign begins is trying to defend themselves, trying to explain, justify, clarify, or prove who they are to people who have already chosen a story. That only fuels the fire. The best thing you can do is remove the oxygen. When you stop reacting, stop explaining, and stop engaging, the fire eventually burns itself out. Smear campaigns do not last forever, but your reaction can keep them alive far longer than necessary. I have been the subject of multiple smear campaigns in my life, and every time the only thing that brought peace was walking away. Not just from the person doing the smearing, but from the people who believed it. They were not my tribe. They did not deserve my energy. And reacting from pain only made the wound deeper. When you strengthen your core, your boundaries, and your self-respect, you begin to understand something very important. No one can take your dignity from you unless you hand it over. Practicing tough love means refusing to engage in character assassination, refusing to chase approval, and refusing to participate in dynamics that require your self-betrayal in order to survive. You don't need to be understood by people who benefit from misunderstanding you. You don't need to defend yourself to people who never protected you. And you don't need to explain your boundaries to people who already crossed them. Walking away means accepting that some people will never see your side and deciding that your peace matters more than their approval. When you practice tough love, which is to say no to bad behavior and refuse to enable it with your agreement, attention, or fuel of any kind, it does not mean you don't love that person or care about them. What it means is that you love you and care about yourself enough to say no to the people who continue to hurt you. Loving someone is not a good reason to open the door to someone who has consistently harmed you. You need to assume the harm will continue, not that the behavior will change. This is just realistic. Tough love may require you to love from a distance. It may require you to cut off contact with that person. It may mean keeping someone an acquaintance rather than a friend. It may mean no longer participating with certain groups. It does mean putting your needs for respect, love, consideration, and kindness before their need to invalidate you. Tough love may mean filing for divorce to protect your finances, staying away from people who make you feel crazy, and stop falling for the charms of that narcissist. When you practice tough love and laser-sharp boundaries, you stop negotiating with mistreatment. You stop explaining yourself to people who have already shown you who they are. You stop trying to be understood by those who benefit from misunderstanding you. Self-respect changes everything. It changes who has access to you. It changes what you tolerate. It changes how you move through the world. And the more deeply you stand in your worth, knowing that you matter, the less you will entertain people who need to tear you down in order to feel powerful. I hope that this has been helpful. And if you are enjoying this content, show me some love and give me a thumbs up and a subscribe. That really helps this brand new baby channel get found. Thanks so much for being here today, and I will see you in the next podcast. Namaste.